Andre, can you hear us?
Yes, good morning, good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to make you presenter if you have some charts to show.
Yes, I have.
You're welcome. Okay, great. And then I'm going to let Dale take over from here. So you guys have a great interview. I don't want to step on your toes here. So thank you, gentlemen, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Hello, Andre. Welcome to F.A.C.E.
Thank you very much, Dale. And let me start. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you, with this amazing group of people. I used to be here when I can, and I'm sorry for my English because it's not perfect. I'm from Portugal, and eventually I will have some difficulties trying to share my views.
Your English is better than my Portuguese. So
Portuguese is not a common language, of course. It's
I'll need to learn it before I move to Brazil. So let me start here, Andre. And
just validate for me. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Validate for me if you are checking my screen with my trading view charts.
I see the harmonics on the screen.
Okay. It's nice.
And
nice.
Looks like it's pound kiwi. So before we get to the markets, it's always interesting to hear people's stories and how they ended up in this type of business as a trader and the methodology that they gravitated to. So can you tell us a little bit about your beginnings, how you got involved as a trader, perhaps what your first job was or who mentored you? How did it happen for you, Andre?
Well, I started outside as an outsider from the market. So my first introduction to the markets was 15-20 years ago. I'm now with 38 years, and it was one very fast introduction to the market. A magazine, an economic magazine here in Portugal, launched at that time a championship, a demo championship for those who are starting or want to begin to trade. And an uncle, as a brother, actually acting as a brother, suggested me to participate on that championship. So I participated on that championship during 1 week, and I jumped out because I was an artist at that time. I was a bass player in my band. I was a basketball player. I have no time to spend in front of my computers. At that time, I had my first computer during that process. So I have no interest, regular interest in the markets at that period. Obviously, I was a child at that period. And then, but that creates me what I call a small.
Let me guess why. You get more girls as a musician in a band and as.
I completely avoid the market and those kind of. But that was my first contact with the market, curiously. And now, today, looking back, I can understand that triggers me some interest later in my life. So later. I became a professional related to network, and I was a supervisor in network operations center related to servers and network servers, and then I fall into an unemployed. So I lose my job at some point. Like 6 years ago, I lost my job during one specific year. I can't remember. 2013, I believe 2014. At that time, I was already involved with the market, just trying to figure out how the market behaves, and I started to play with the market with small amounts of money. And curiously, I started with inverted with the most common person. So most common persons will lose their money when they start to trade. Actually, with me. I was one of fortunate guy because I injected a small amount of money, and without know how to trade, I capitalized my accounts with trading coffee, selling coffee at that summer. But I soon realized that I can't keep that that development without learning the process. Something triggered my curiosity to learn how the market behaves in order to avoid massive losses, because we have the internet today. We have all the information there at a distance with one click. It's not difficult for us to get notice that most of the people will lose their money when trading without the proper knowledge. So
okay, so
learn later the markets, yeah.
So as you went through this process, did you try other methodologies, and how did you come to become a believer in harmonics? And were there any people did you have a mentor?
Well, I believe I started as any other people, starting to search for the best indicator, starting to search for the best technique to trade, starting to search for other people's works too. Then when I joined the community on TradingView, I started to realize that the amount of alternatives in terms of technical approaches that we can apply to our strategies to trade and to develop, and to try to develop even a better strategy than others. But I was started as any other, trying to search for the best indicator, the pretty good indicator, the stochastic, and all mixed together. And well, I spent a lot of time trying to search for the best strategy to trade until I joined TradingView. Then I was confronted with the harmonic patterns, and I realized that this is a friendly strategy that allows me to put my capital at risk with a proper risk strategy for a long-term period. So, and then I started to search for those guys who developed those concepts, and all the merit to Scott Carney. I believe most of the people know Scott Carney and his job related to harmonic trading. So I believe.
How about Nicola Duke? Nick is also.
Yes, I have some information from not only from Nuke, but actually from a lot of other people. I have Bill Williams for fractals. I have Darvas. I have studied Nicholas Darvas boxes, not related directly to harmonic patterns, but then Harold Gartley, with Profit in the Stock Market in 1935, that launched the book, one amazing book, sold by $1,500 at that time. I believe it was similar to the costs. The book costs. It was similar to
an ounce of gold.
No, it was very expensive book, and I believe the community at that period in 1935.
Yeah, that was a lot of money during the.
A lot of money, equivalent to 2 months of work in the United States at that period. So it was an amazing book, and then we have Pesavento and Leslie.
Oh yeah, Larry, I know Larry.
Leslie Pesavento, Larry Pesavento is Leslie Joffler is also a nice book from Trade What You See, and some books as reference to. And those guys actually, I believe, when people start to search for a lot of information, people start to become confused. So I started very soon to get focused on specific people and try to follow and try to get the most valuable information just for them. Obviously, I have other people. I have Akhil Stokes, one of the best mentors that I can mention here, because it's very easy to find Akhil.
Oh yes, Akhil, I know. I have him scheduled for.
I know he was here already with you. I saw that interview. I believe it will be here.
Yeah, that was on FX Street in Lahr.
Yeah.
And I believe he was taught by Jason Stapleton. I know that Scott Carney believes he invented harmonics and Gartley patterns. But it's interesting to me that you bring up that Gartley is named after market,
because
market
it was
wizard.
Yeah,
and how many of these wizards were all around at the same time? Gann and Gartley and Elliott. Very, that's very interesting that they all came around in the 30s. And I'm wondering who the new generation is going to be. But all these.
I believe the market is an hybrid market, no, and we should be adapted to that market as soon as possible, so we can see
the market. The new ones will be guys like Tom DeMark and some other people that have come up with different methodologies. So, great story, interesting journey you've had, and you and I could maybe, you're a basketball player, but having been in the market as long as you have, and people knowing my age, maybe should we ever meet, we'll have to stick to shuffleboard or volleyball or something, right?
Sure.
Can you still get over the rim? Can you still touch the rim?
No, I have a daughter now. I have another commitment.
Did you play Olympic ball?
Yeah, but I play it by my district selection. Not a national team, but my city. That period it was very important because Portugal, we have 10 million inhabitants. We are a very small country. Well, it's 800 kilometers distance from north to south. It's not difficult to cross our country.
And you never grow too old to play a bass, do you? You still playing?
No. I'm a point guard. I'm a point guard. So.
Oh, okay. But I'm talking. You said you were in a band. That you play bass.
I play bass. I play instruments from my 6 years old. So I play guitar, I play bass, I play drums, I play a lot of instruments.
So music is harmonics too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Obviously, I can't swing without music. I can't make my analysis without my sounds behind. So I must to get. As Bill Williams said, that he needs the cats and the classic music. I need my jazz and is that why you came?
Is that why your handle is jazz? At Trader Jazz, is that one of your favorite forms of music?
That starts as a kid playground. When I joined TradingView, I was not expecting to become one of the top authors inside the platform at all. It was a long-term process between dedication, motivation, and sharing content, and trying to educate people and trying to put people in the correct path, trying to avoid the most common mistakes we all face at some time at some period. And that work, people started to enjoy and to enjoy the work.
Yes, I read on your website you're quite prolific on TradingView. Are you the #1 poster on TradingView?
I don't know. I know I reduced it or decreased too much my posts since I started to work inside the area in other category, not just as an analyst or a trader. I started to provide also for those who don't have time to search for opportunities.
So you provided more. You had a business model.
And then I decreased my publishing charts.
Now you only do it to tease people to join your service.
No, I'm actually not. That is the main objective. No, Dale, you have a business too. You know how these things work. We need people. Actually, I need people to get focused and to be disciplined to myself. The best way to keep disciplined is to keep providing the best information that I can in order to.
I'm not against making a living with your knowledge. I'm all for it. So some people get defensive about it. They think that because of one time they were providing free analysis. That is something curious to our profession. People don't hesitate to pay their accountant, their lawyer. But when it comes to making a forecast or teaching people how to trade a very difficult endeavor, there's some hesitancy to pay people because there is so much out there.
Yeah, because people don't understand the time that you need to dedicate to
That's true.
the effort. Yeah.
So how many years did it take you to become a
yes, I know already
trader?
Yeah, to become a profitable trader, let me put the things like this. I only started to trade my real accounts in about one year and 2 months. I still in profit, but I'm facing my first major drawdown. So I'm trying to recover in my personal account. I'm trying to recover from my first drawdown. Usually it will happen because we trade in sequences. No, we trade good sequences and we trade bad sequences of trades. So I believe I'm crossing now I'm trying to break the bearish correction.
Well, you know what, thank
my drawdown.
Thank you for your transparency. Very few people come in here and admit they're going through a drawdown period. So
no, I face drawdowns all the time, but this was a major one because I started to provide signals and I started to trade at the same time. And during that period, I started to provide a lot of signals, and at some point, I lost my.
I agree that people do all the time, Andre. What I'm saying is, people rarely are transparent and talk about it. Right? I mean, you're on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
I think people choke on the words "I don't know" and "I was wrong." You don't see that a lot on Twitter.
Yeah.
So
I know perfectly when I was wrong, no?
Yeah.
Especially because I trade harmonics and I know when the harmonic will fail. So when the harmonic fails, I'm jumping out from that trade automatically. So I don't need to hope.
So let's talk about your comeback with some instruments that we have up here, Pound Kiwi, and tell us what you're seeing here and what you're looking for. It looks like you had, some type of, was that a Gartley or Cipher?
This is on Pound Kiwi. This is the eventual, not the eventual one because this is forged already. We had already engaged this trade at 224 extension. This is the sharp pattern, and this is the most basic configuration for the sharp pattern. So the sharp pattern can complete at 161 extension from this previous wave, from this last swing. It extends at 161 or at 224. I like to trade them at 224
for counter trend.
For this specific trade for a counter trend. So this is a bullish momentum, as you can see. I believe you have already mentioned that.
Is there anything harmonic with your green box that you see there? To me, I mean, as a conventional technician, to me, it looks like it's just sideways.
Yes, this is just a sideways, and the market actually can print highs. No, the market can enter into a corrective momentum, and then prints new highs. But we have our targets at Fibonacci, so I trade the Fibonacci levels. As soon as the market touches my 38% retracement, I will break even my position. So I have no issues. If the market goes above my entry point, I will cut my position also.
So you're looking to buy a retracement here now?
I do not buy a retracement because I have a major view for pound versus dollar. That, as you can see, at the same time as pound Kiwi is consolidating in a corrective structure, we have pound versus dollar feeling the less strength from the dollar now. Actually, I don't believe this is the strength of the pound, but yes, the lack of strength on dollar, because they are all some kind of correlated. No, I believe you have talked about that earlier with Steve or Blake. I believe it was Blake, trying to capture the attention for the eventual correlation at some point between the majors and dollar, and eventually gold. We can mix gold in that process too. I am expecting pound to fall in a major, let's say in the weekly chart. So I am expecting somehow and somewhere the price to break this structure, to print new high, or at least to come to test the previous lows. This is just an expectation, and I don't trade those expectations, but based on that thought, I can try to search for opportunities to sell the market. And my next opportunity to sell the market, it will be presented with another harmonic pattern, this one, a 161.8 extension. It will be synced with
135.
Blake's level. I believe it's somewhere. I'm not taking notes.
4.5 to 5.
The specific price, but well, at this point, and that's why I don't. And I'm sorry, let's say my ignorance, because I don't trade fundamentals. I completely ignore the calendar. I avoid to engage the market at that specific moment, but I completely ignore the fundamental approach.
Okay, let me ask you this: you trade in both positions on red event days, like central banks and then.
Yes, let me put the thing like this, Dale. If I have a very strong pattern to trade, and at the same time a news event to happen, I will trade I can trade the pattern, okay? Because if there's no news event, I will trade the pattern even though. So I just need to set my proper risk strategy behind the harmonic and to trade it, okay?
Okay.
So it's not so simple as this, because I have my criteria too. I have specific time frame to trade. I have specific pairs to trade. I trade below my specific percentage of risk per trade. I have a maximum risk for my account. So I have all the set. When I catch, or when I can find a setup that allows me to set my strategy, to apply my strategy to trade it, I will trade it. Even if I have some news events happening at that time, I have no issues to engage an advanced pattern above the news event at all.
Okay. So your bias is looking for shorting opportunities at the completion of this rally in pound. Anything else? Another instrument that you may have a view going into the end of the year?
I'm already involved with this eventual OC eventual reversal. I'm expecting the OC to somehow achieve, at least to achieve my 38% retracement at 0.75. No, 0.75. This is my first target. Previous structural lows. You let me clear this harmonic.
So how do you handle it? It looks like your pattern would have stopped at the 161.8, but there was one more jiggle to the downside.
Forced with divergence, no, I believe.
Oh yeah, there was.
Yeah, we have a powerful divergence here. I was expecting the market to print the shark pattern between the 161 and 224. And somewhere inside this zone, I need to search for the behavior that forces my trade. So I believe you trade also as a reversal trader. You trade also divergence on your charts. So we have here a powerful one. So why not to take advantage?
So do you have a harmonic pattern to the upside that you might be anticipating in Aussie?
Yeah.
To take it up there, or is it too early to come up with one?
I believe it can create somehow some kind of consolidation here at this period, because we are trading below the previous structure, the most recent previous structure. I believe it can feel that pressure here. Actually, we are now in the 2-hour charts. We are now feeling that same pressure. Let me try to put that chart conveniently. We are trading above this initial, let's say the initial trend, now adjusted to the previous and most recent one. So we have now this structure. We have also marked somehow indicating an head and shoulder in momentum. No, we have some head and shoulder momentum, not on price, but that cannot actually provide us some guidance, so the price can come to test this trend line. So, but this is just expectations, Dale. I don't trade those price actions. I don't expect the price to come to test this trend line to engage the market. I expect the market to print somehow some kind of advanced pattern, and if there's an advanced pattern to trade, I will trade. So what swing I will search for, and I know you have only usually half an hour for these interviews. I will try to be very, very fast on my approach. So what I search when I look into my chart, into the charts, is these previous swings, these V shapes at eyes of the structure. So I measure those structures, and those who are familiar with harmonic trading already know which level I am trying to search for. I will try to search for the shark at point C. This is an extension from this previous swing between closing or touching the 113, 127 extension, and then the market needs to fall into the 161 extension to provide me at least one first buy opportunity. So here, 161, if the market breaks this structure above, obviously, I'm holding my buy position. So, but if the market violates this structure, and if the market somehow prints the 161, 224, come to test the previous lows, it can provide us a nice opportunity. We can also search for confluence between our Fibonacci levels and try to get this, the confluence.
So the more evidence you have, the more compelling the trade.
Yeah.
If your bids and your extensions come together.
Yeah. All the time. I need to get those confluence, those cluster boxes, and we can add a lot of tools. We can add Nicholas Darvas boxes to have notions where the price may stop. No, we have usually Darvas boxes tells you the market should come to test the 50% of the previous consolidation period. So let's put things easily like this. We can expect the price to come to test the previous Darvas box of consolidation at 50%.
Well, why don't we do this, Andre? Why don't you show your website, and so listeners and viewers that are hearing you live, and then people who watch the video will know how to find you.
Of course, this is. I believe you're already familiar with, but this is just my private or personal website. This is just a way to contact me, and there's a few contacts there. There's also my subscription.
TradingJazz.com.
TradingJazz, FX.com. But this is just a way to contact me. I share some performance from my signals just related to my signals, just not my personal account, because as I told you, I don't trade all my signals. I also make analysis by request, and then if I found somehow interesting to share that analysis into my subscribers, I will share that information. But this is just information related to my signals. But the website is just a way to contact me. Actually, we have the socials, the TradingView, and Facebook and Twitter. Most of the times I'm also online on those platforms in order to be contacted from the people. And TradingView, obviously, I have 24 educational charts for those who are starting to trade, charts related to harmonic trading, double top definitions, the 2618 setup, how to trade it, basic movements on Elliott waves, well, and a lot of information for those who are starting and somehow they are lost inside.
You're a great resource. You're a great resource, Andre.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That is the objective. No, it's to share among the community and to grow together and
to pay it forward.
Yeah.
And I really want to thank you for coming today to edify our community.
Thank you
too. It was a pleasure meeting you, speaking with you, and I now call you, like many others, my trading brother.
Thank you very much, Dale. I really appreciate it.
Drawdown you're going through is temporal as possible, and that it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish it. But
how you finish, exactly. I completely agree. And very thank you very much for having me here, and thank you to Blake and to Steve. Amazing analysis they have done, and constantly and the consistency is crucial. No, I believe you all understand the consistency of our analysis, and I really appreciate your effort and not the effort, but all the concept that you are trying to develop here on F.A.C.E project. It's amazing, and it's actually.
Well, on behalf of the team, we're humbled and we thank you, and
thank you very much.
Good hunting the rest of the week, the rest of the year, and let's get back together in 2018, Andre.
Sure. Thank you very much. All the best for all of you. Thank you.
All right, everyone. That's André Cardoso. You can find him at trading_jazz, and his website's www.traderjazzfx.com. See everyone tomorrow for Turnaround Tuesday. Good hunting the rest of the day. And remember, it's 1 month free if you subscribe today. You get 1 free month if you purchase 1 month. So good hunting, everyone. See you tomorrow. And remember, most of all, and I know Andre would agree with me, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Money comes and goes. Time is gone forever. Make it count. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you.